Yes, so what happened is like this. First of all, I was very sick that day, and the day before that I was also dizzy. I had fainted the day before. Now, on Monday afternoon, I also didn't feel well, and my whole body was shaking. I went to rest, I got in bed, I covered myself with a blanket because I was really cold. I don't know how to explain it. My whole body was shivering and I was in a lot of pain. I felt like suddenly I left my body, and then I saw myself in the bed. I was about 6 feet above my bed. I didn't understand if that was me there. Then who am I here? Or who is the one above my bed? And I wasn't able to understand it. Then I started to float, like I am going up in the air without an elevator. And I rose up and left the room, and I went higher and higher and higher. Should I keep telling the story?
Yes, tell about how you saw planet Earth.
And then I saw the earth from far away, and I continued to go even higher and higher. And then what happened was, I don't know how to explain it, suddenly out of nowhere, I entered a sort of tunnel, really huge, and I see at the end of the tunnel a very small light, and it was like I was in a tunnel. I don't know how to explain it. There were like these circles and more circles, and inside you see lots and lots of souls. And then I just started walking, and the light got bigger and bigger, and finally you reach that light. And that light, I don't know how to explain it. It was good. You feel safe and loved. It's impossible to explain.
Is there any example in this world of a light like that? Can you compare the light you saw to anything that is in this world?
No, it's impossible. You can't explain it. And it was like the light just spoke with me. Like it didn't say words. It was like you understand it's talking to you and asking questions. If it asked me if I wanted to die. I understood that if I crossed the line of light, then I wouldn't be able to go back. I answered that I didn't know. I had no idea what to do. I don't know. And then what happened was I just walked away from there. Suddenly, I entered a hall, a huge hall, huge, gigantic, and there were lots and lots of people. And all the people were dressed in nice clothes. They were dressed very well, and then I saw myself, and I was wearing torn clothing stained with blood. I felt very ashamed, and all the people were there for me, and they were happy, and they applauded me and everything. And I entered the hall, and I saw Rabbi Yosef, and then he shook my hand. I saw him there, and I saw lots of other people I know who died, lots and lots of people, also who I didn't know. So I was in that big hall, and what happened to me was I just went inside, and there was a very high stage, and on the stage there were 3 lights. There was a very high light, that was the middle one, and on the right side there was a small light, and on the left side there was also a small light.
What are those lights?
They were like somebody testifying about you. The light on the right reveals the bad things you did, and the light on the left reveals the good things you did.
There was a court there?
Yes.
And do you know who was presiding over the court? If there were judges there, who were the judges?
Yes, there was Rabbi Yosef, who was the head of the judges.
The head of the court?
Yeah, the head of the court.
And who was with him?
I think Rabbi Eliyash.
Rabbi Eliashiv?
Yes.
Who was the third?
I don't remember. I don't really remember.
And then there was good things and bad things.
Yes, there were the 2 small lights. On the right side you have the bad things, and on the left side you have the good things. You just see this kind of light, and you know what it is. You know what that light is.
You know on your own without being told?
Yeah, you know what it is. You know what that thing is. And suddenly it was quiet in that hall. All the hundreds of people. It was all suddenly totally silent. And then the bad light started to reveal every bad thing I've ever done in my life. They are strict there about every little thing. Every little thing you do in your life, they will show it all to you. It just talked to me about every single second of my life. Why did you say such and such? Why did you do such and such? And why this? Why that?
Sins?
Yeah.
And when that was said to you, how did you feel?
Feel ashamed. It was a huge embarrassment, something that can't be explained because all the people are looking at you and they're showing you your life. It's really embarrassing. He shows you that the bad things you did, why did you do this, why that.
Until where did they show you?
Until the time when you left your body.
Everything?
Everything.
In your whole life?
Every second.
Every action?
Every action.
Even hand washing? Everything?
Not only the good deeds and sins, they show you every single second of your life.
What you did with it.
Yeah, exactly. And so he tells me all the bad things I did and everything. And then he finished speaking, and the good voice began. discussing all the good things they did, and then you don't understand how much reward you receive for the smallest thing you do. Really, the feelings of shame and everything, and then the moment he said something really, really little that I did, a little good deed, the littlest thing that you do is considered there to be huge. And when they said the littlest good thing I did, I felt like, wow, it's so great that I wore my tassel that day. It's so great that I did such and such. It's so great, so great. The littlest thing there overturns the entire world. I don't know how to explain it. It's like,
How do you know there is a reward for this or that?
you see that. The moment there is a reward, they say to you, righteous one, righteous one. All the people cheer for you, righteous one. And there is that light that I saw there in the beginning. The bigger the light is, you understand that the reward you have coming to you is bigger.
And regarding the sins,
First of all, there are people that are called angels of destruction that I saw there. They are kind of short. They have beards. In their eyes there is fire. And they show you the sins you did. Everything. Every time they mention a sin, they show you fire. And everyone shouts at you, wicked, wicked, wicked. Just like when you did something good, they shout out, righteous one, righteous one. So they shout wicked, wicked about everything. It's very embarrassing. It's about good and bad. I don't know how to explain it. And then what happened is that the two people took me with wings. They just took me and held both of my arms. They didn't really have arms. I saw everything. I saw something in front and in back. I looked.
can you see in front and in back and also on the sides?
Also on the sides.
At that moment, you can see everything around?
Yes, I could sense everything happening to my body and what was happening in the world. I knew everything, but it didn't interest me. I didn't care.
It's possible to know, but it's not interesting?
It's not interesting, and what happened is that those people just took me. I don't know how to explain it. They took me to a lower hall. It was in a sort of hall, and they took me to the hall below it. Now in the hall where I was, it was a place called the Lower Garden of Eden. And then they suddenly showed me a gate, and they opened the gate. Those two people, and I saw people studying the Torah, and I saw the light there, and it was just something really huge, really beautiful. The light I saw in the beginning was nothing compared to that light. Nothing at all. This was something good. That was the Lower Garden of Eden. Just think, there were higher levels than that.
Can you describe what it was like?
It's not possible. It's something good, something beautiful. You just want to stay there with them and study the Torah with them, just to stay there in that place and never leave.
What do you see? What do you hear? What do you smell?
You smell a good smell, just like good smells here, but you can't describe it in this world. What that good smell is that you smell. And you see the light, and you just want to stay there forever, for always. You don't have things there like we have here, material things and things like that. It's all spiritual, and it's something good, something beautiful. It's a feeling. Every feeling is a good and wonderful feeling.
And you understand that's only the entrance to the Garden of Eden.
I felt that it was only the entrance, yes. There was also the inside, and there was also higher levels. That was the lowest level. It was called the Lower Garden of Eden.
Now there is also the other side that they showed you.
There was also the other side, yes.
God created one opposite the other.
And then they took me, those two people I told you about. Remember I told you there were these angels of destruction with those beards? I'll tell you how they look. First of all, they are dressed in all black. They have long, long beards. Inside their eyes there is fire. Those people with the wings at first wanted to take me into the Lower Garden of Eden. And then those angels of destruction said, "No, not so fast. You can't. We want to take you somewhere else." Now, those two people just took me. The angels of destruction took me. And then they took me to a place with a scale. Huge scales. They showed me my sins and my good deeds. Every single thing. Like I told you before, the smallest good deeds there overturn entire worlds. Really, you get a huge reward. When you make a blessing, it's something really, really, really gigantic. Something huge. And also a sin. The smallest thing is also something really, really big.
It's not worth it.
It's not worth it at all to sin.
Little ones.
Yes, the littlest ones, the smallest sins, are really not good. And then they put my good deeds on the scale like this. And it was huge. You see the good deeds here and the sins there. They put them on the scale. And you actually see it. Here the good deeds and here the sins. And then they show you which total is the bigger. And at first it looked like more sins, but in the end I saw there were more good deeds. I was really happy.
You are fortunate because you were less than 20 years old.
Yes, and afterwards they told me, if you are up here more than 3 hours, you can't go back down. and I felt like I had been up there for years, but they told me I had only been up there for a few minutes, and that was actually right. After I went back down, the whole thing was only 15 minutes, and they told me up there that after 3 hours you can't go back down.
Tell them a little bit about hell.
Hell? Okay.
Not a lot, just a little.
Okay. Now, in the beginning I told you I went higher and higher and higher, and the whole time I was there in that world, I saw thousands of other things that I can't explain to you. I saw millions of things. I can't explain it all, but a lot. Now, when I was up there, I also heard some very, very, very scary things. I heard and I also saw when I went up. I heard screaming, terrible screaming you can't imagine. And the sins that you do, those sins end up there and you'll go there. The sins, it isn't worth it, believe me. You can't imagine what I saw there. I heard people screaming, "Ah!" like that, just screaming from below. Powerful screams. And what you think, what I felt at that moment is that in hell, there are several places. That's what I understood. I understood there are a few places. I also understand what you feel in each place. In each place, the feeling is worse and worse. Now, you feel what it feels like in each and every place. And it's very frightening because every place is very scary. And you feel the place, you know what it feels like there.
Do you know what those places are called?
Yeah, I remember some of them.
Do you remember from there?
I remember from there, yes, what they were called.
Can you give us names?
I remember one place that was called Shadow of Death. That was a place that wasn't good at all. I remember another place called The Pit. I just saw rooms and rooms like classrooms, and from those rooms, fire shot out. Fire just shot out. I don't know how to explain it. Something scary. I don't know how to explain it in words. I don't really know.
Scary.
Very scary, yeah.
And all those names you know from when you were there?
I know that from when I was there.
You know it on your own?
I know it on my own, and I also knew which people were there, and I knew how much time they were there, and I knew what those places felt like, and I knew what it felt like to be there, and it wasn't at all pleasant.
What else was there?
What else did I see? I saw a place like I just saw the universe, and I saw lots and lots of souls wandering about the universe. Lots of souls wandering around the universe. I don't really know how to explain it. A soul is a sort of wind. There are no arms or legs. You look at somebody. He doesn't have eyes, a mouth, and all of that. He has a voice. You know who the person is, and you can talk to him. You don't see a body, a person, or face, nothing. But you know who that person is. You know who he is, and you can talk to him. And you hear his voice, and you know everything about him. What? What? Yes, they told me that. They told me, first of all, that every little thing you get in life, every little bump, the smallest injury, it's all from heaven. Everything is from heaven. So they told me also that because I had to go there, I went there. I had to go there.
Okay, let's get back to that tour. Let's call it a tour. After they showed you that there is the Garden of Eden, and after they showed you there is hell, there is a huge reward for good deeds.
A huge reward for good deeds.
And a severe punishment for sins, even the smallest sins.
For very small sins, yeah.
Now what? They sent you back to where?
Now it's like...
In short, they were teaching you something like choose.
Yes, choose.
And you choose.
You choose, yes. It's obvious you'll choose between bad and good and bad. And there are cases when you can't choose. There are instances when you did sins, they finished all of the...
But every man in this world has a choice.
He has the choice.
He comes with a choice.
Yes, but...
If he did a good deed, he gets a very big reward. If he sinned, heaven forbid, he gets a big punishment.
Yeah.
And it's according to a person's choice.
But when you are up there, you can't choose anymore.
There's no choice.
You have no choice.
In death we are free, for once a man dies, he is free of the good deeds.
What you did, and you can no longer fix anything. And let me tell you what I saw after that. They asked me if I want to stay there or not. I told them after 3 hours I can't stay. Yes, sorry, can you hear me now? Yes, both pleasant and not so pleasant.
He doesn't want to remember the things that weren't so good.
Yeah, I don't want to remember. And then
He decided that he is repenting, and he knows that after 120 years, when he goes back, he will go to the Garden of Eden.
yes.
Can you tell them a little about how you were shouted at?
When they shouted at me?
Yes.
What shouting?
About the tassel.
Ah, which tassel?
About your father.
Ah, and then they told me there are things that I need to fix, such as wearing my tassel. It's something very important. When I was there, I also understood how important that is. I understand how much my tassel is something huge, and it really brings a huge reward. I am telling you, the blessing you make is a huge reward. Gigantic. You turn worlds over there. So the tassel is wow, like huge. Remember I told you that they said I could stay up there for up to 3 hours at the most? So in the beginning, the moment I saw the Garden of Eden, I said, I want to stay here. But after that, they showed me the other side and all that. They asked me if I wanted to stay. I said I would prefer to go back down. Why? Because if I went back down, I could sin more. But more good deeds, I earn more rewards, more of everything. I could earn a greater reward. And do more good deeds. Reach an even higher level. So why would I want to stay here and not do that? So I said that I would rather go back down, and they sent me back down. They told me that I was up there because I had merit. I'm sorry, what? Yes, that's what they told me. They said I had a merit. I got there, I didn't get there randomly, that's what they told me. What? Before that, I barely wore it. Now I'm wearing it, yes.
Now he has his tassel. Praise be God's name.
So, are you listening? So after that, when I decided I want to go down, I saw something a million times more frightening than everything else I had seen. Everything. What I saw when I decided to go down, they said, no problem, you're going down.
Tell us what that process was. I wasn't there.
Okay, so just what I saw at first. I didn't understand who he was. I didn't understand what this thing was. I saw a regular person, really regular. He actually had arms and legs and a head and everything, but he was really tall, gigantic, huge. He never ended. You look up like this and you can't see the end of him.
What did he look like?
He was all eyes, all eyes.
All eyes?
And fire came out of his eyes. It was really scary, and you feel like you can't run away from him. You can't escape from him no matter what. You can't. He's with you everywhere. He doesn't leave you. Seriously.
Was that an angel?
It was the angel of death, based on what I saw there and what I understood there.
You understood it was the angel of death.
I understood it was the angel of death.
Did he speak with you?
Yes, he held me. He had sort of a pitchfork in his hand, and he held me like this.
How many teeth did it have?
A lot.
Not eyes, teeth.
Teeth. It had teeth.
The pitchfork.
What?
The pitchfork.
Yes, it had 3 prongs.
3.
Yes, 3. And then when I saw it, after that, he came to me like this. It was something so scary, I can't even describe what it was, what that person was, what the thing was. It was really scary. And it was like he just held me like this with his sword, with that pitchfork. Something scary, terrifying, and terrible. He held me here on my chest. Like I said before, it matters where they hold you, right?
And where did he hold you?
He held me on my chest, here.
And what did he say to you?
He said to me, do a lot of good deeds. Why? In the end, you pay. Even if you don't do anything, you will pay in the end. He told me what I had seen there was nothing.
What voice does he have? A pleasant voice or frightening?
No, not pleasant at all.
What voice did he have?
Really loud, yes. No, really, this is serious. It isn't a joke, but something scary. I am telling you this like it was all good, but it was super scary.
He's trying to make out of this.
15 minutes. 15 minutes. 15 minutes, yeah.
Yes, gentlemen, that is what I said in the beginning. It's hard to understand, but what we can acquire in years of learning, there you can understand everything in 1 minute. Take note of what he says. He says, I understand on my own and see on my own. And he isn't the first who was there and came back. I personally know many, many more like him. They all say the same thing, a huge amount of information in a second. That means that a person can be in one place and he knows where his father is and where his mother is and what is happening with them.
I knew everything.
Every event of his life passed before his eyes, and it's just the world of truth. In the world of truth, everything is revealed. There is nothing hidden. The soul can receive. There is no limit to what it can receive. We are here in this world, and we are limited in what we can receive. But there are no limits. The soul is not limited. So a person can, in just minutes, learn information and everything that happens there, all in just 1 or 2 minutes. 15 minutes is a long time.
Yes, it's a lot of time.
In terms of above, 15 minutes is a lot of time. We also know that Rabbi Isaac Lau, may his memory protect us, said that during the third meal of Sabbath, he would doze for a minute or two. When he was asked, Rabbi, where were you? He said, I was above. I heard new interpretations of the Torah. So tell us some of the interpretations. And then he would say, only if you have 70 years to spend for me to explain those 2 minutes.
Yes, I saw a lot of things.
That means that there is no explanation. There is no sitting in classes and somebody comes and teaches you and gives you a test. And if you don't understand, you take a retest. But that doesn't happen there. It's just you get there and you know the truth on your own, instantly. There is no time. It is a dimension beyond time. When he says 15 minutes, that is his concept. There, it's a world of eternity.
What? It's not good. It depends on which places. It depends on which places.
Would you want to make the same rounds? Would you want to do the same thing again? He only wants the good things. He doesn't want to remember the bad things.
I wouldn't advise anybody. I would advise only the good things.
He advises us to learn the Torah, fulfill good deeds. The reward is great. And in that way, man won't suffer there above. And he will receive a great reward. And he will say, again, repeat and emphasize that what they showed him there are the gates of the Garden of Eden. That was only
the beginning.
Only the beginning, the lowest level. Now you say that you are a soul there. In the form of a soul there, you understand things automatically.
I knew things automatically. I know what will happen in the future.
You have no questions. Everything is clear to you, and you know. You just arrive at a place, and you already know what and who. You see a soul, and you know who it was in life. You see a soul in hell, and you know what he did and how he feels. You don't need to ask. You know everything alone.
I also know what will happen in the future.
Let's go to that hour when they opened the Garden of Eden. When they opened the Garden of Eden, what did you understand? Excuse me for a moment. Questions at the end, okay? No, don't answer. When they opened the Garden of Eden, so he explained to us that it was the lowest level, the lowest of all levels. And you saw people there sitting and studying the Torah.
Yes.
Can you tell us who those people were?
I saw people.
Not names and where they lived, but what type of people they were.
What kind of people they were? They weren't the Torah scholars or anything like that. They were just people who set aside times for their Torah.
They set aside times for the Torah study?
Yes.
And you understand that there is more than that.
I knew that there was more. A lot more than that.
So Torah scholars are more?
Torah scholars are more.
There are higher levels?
Higher, yeah.
And what do you think the highest level is?
The throne of glory.
And who reaches that level?
Anyone who repents.
Anyone who repents?
Yes, but not from fear of punishment, but from disgust of sin, from reverence of heaven. This is how I understood it. The very, very highest, the higher level you go. You remember the light I told you about? That light there is bigger.
Who teaches the others?
Wow. I am telling you that a blessing is huge.
Just a blessing from the Torah. That is something huge there?
Gigantic.
So the Torah lesson is bigger than the biggest, and if you teach others...
Wow.
That's good. Wonderful. Now wait a second. Just a second. We want to go back to that point. before we lost direction here, I want to go back to that point where you are there and you understand everything for yourself.
Yes.
So they showed you the two ways, that there is here and there. But the audience sitting here more or less knows all of that. That there is this and that. You are just coming now and strengthening for us what we read in the books and learned. Now, what is more interesting for us? I want to ask you questions about the Messiah.
Okay, great.
Could you know who the Messiah was?
I couldn't know. I could only know what his traits were, what he needs to be in order to be the Messiah.
And can you tell us if he is here or there?
He's here. He must be here. It can't be that the Messiah is dead. That can't be.
That can't be.
It has to be somebody who is here, who people know. But when he becomes the Messiah, everybody will be surprised.
That means that when the Messiah, with God's help, is revealed, it will be a surprise?
A huge surprise.
And people will say, ah, that's the Messiah.
It will be like, wow, that's the Messiah. Like that.
Good. Now I want to go back to something else. You say you could know what was going to happen in the world. When you were there, what did you understand was going to happen?
According to what I knew there, I'm sure I know it. When I was up there, I knew what was going to happen in the world. And according to what I knew, what I told you about the Messiah and everything, I also knew that the redemption and the revelation of the Messiah is going to happen very soon. It's like it's going to happen in the very near future. It's imminent. It's like imminent. The redemption is really coming.
Now tell me, when you were there was no concept of time. How can you estimate there the concept of time? What is imminent? Is it 20 years, 2 years, a month?
Imminent is right away, like in the coming months.
In the coming months, okay. In the coming months, okay. Now, do you also know what will happen?
Yes, I know what is going to happen, yes.
And you know it from there?
Yes, only from there. Everything I know is only from there.
And where are we holding right now?
Where are we holding now? In a period, not a good one at all. I can tell you that the redemption is very close to here.
And what will happen during that redemption?
Very bad things are going to happen, but it depends on who, as far as I knew. It is certain it will occur in the coming months. There is that possibility. If we all repent, then it won't happen.
The bad things in the redemption won't happen.
The bad things.
But the redemption will arrive.
The redemption will arrive. Yes, but if they sin, the redemption will be worse.
If they sin, it will come to pass much more harshly.
Much more difficult.
And if everybody repents, it will come to pass in an easy way.
It's going to happen no matter what.
Now, according to what you know there, what you saw there, how is it going to happen?
Based on what I knew, right now our situation is not good at all. I mean, not good.
What's going to happen?
It's going to be a very big war, and everybody, the whole world will be in that war, based on what I learned. The whole world will be in that war. Everybody, all the Gentiles, all the Arabs, everybody will be against Israel and will fight in that war.
How will it begin?
It will be started by somebody named Gog. As far as I knew up there, only up there.
He is called Gog?
Yes.
And do you know who this Gog is?
I am sure I know who it is.
Who is it?
Obama, President Obama.
He will start Gog and Magog?
He will be the one who starts that war. He will bring his whole army. He will start the war here.
And he'll fight against us?
He'll fight against us. At first, everyone will just want Israel. Jerusalem, Israel. Everyone will want it.
Jerusalem?
Jerusalem, yes. Everyone will want it. The whole world. They won't care about us. They will just want Jerusalem. Everyone will fight against each other because they want it. Not long at all. All of the bad things will take 2 weeks.
All of the bad things will take 2 weeks. What will happen during those 2 weeks? What are the bad things?
In those 2 weeks, what is the bad thing? More than a few million people will die. They will die like the only thing that saves them is if they repent. If a person learns the Torah and does good, that's what will save him.
It says in the Gemara when they asked Rabbi Hagedal, what can a person do to save himself from the birth pangs of Messiah? Rabbi Hagedal answered, he should occupy himself with the Torah and acts of kindness. That's what will save him. Now tell me, what is this? What kind of war is this? A spiritual war?
No, no.
A war of soldiers against soldiers? What is it?
Partly. At first it will be a war between soldiers. The whole world will just come, just at first. All the Gentiles will battle each other and will want Israel. In the end, what will happen is this. Everyone will unite and fight against us, fight against Israel, and many Israelites will die. Millions will die. A ton of people will die.
Those who didn't keep the Torah and good deeds?
They will die.
And those who did keep the Torah and good deeds?
Those who kept the Torah and do good deeds, it depends if they learned the Torah and did good deeds. There are those who observe but don't really care about it. They are loose about it. But if someone is really strict and studies the Torah and does good deeds, he will be saved.
How will he be saved?
He will be saved. What will happen is like this. Based on what I saw up there.
What do you mean what you saw? Did you see it like a movie of the future?
Yeah, like a movie of the future. I see it in a movie of the future. You see it in a few seconds, but it's lots and lots of time. Like the movie of my life, I saw it first. They showed me my life in a split second. Like in a fraction of a second, they showed it to me. And I saw every single second of my life. When I was a baby, when I was a little boy, I saw it all.
Now let's move forward. You saw a movie.
I saw a movie.
Let's call it a movie of the future, of what's going to be.
Yes, yes. I saw everyone attacking Israel and came against us and fought against us. The IDF will hold them off for 2 days. Then everyone will just kill us and we won't have anyone to help but God. And then, suddenly...
Wait. This war, the IDF will hold for only 2 days?
2 days.
And after 2 days?
We'll be finished by then.
No IDF?
No IDF.
So everything is open?
Everything is open.
So when you say that Gog is Obama, Obama is the United States, you say that he will lead the...
He will lead the whole war.
And who will join him?
Who will join him? Iran will join him. The UN. The whole UN.
Russia?
Yes, Russia, South Korea, the whole UN. Really, everyone. Everyone. All 70 nations will rise against us. 70.
Where is ISIS in all this?
ISIS. This is what I saw. They will kidnap people. They will just kidnap people.
They will kidnap our people?
Yes, like they did to Gilad Shalit. They will also do that. They will kidnap people and torture them and things like that. For now, what I also saw is that the Mount of Olives next to Jerusalem, for those who are saved, that mountain will split in two. And when the mountain splits, that very second, the Messiah will be revealed to everyone. Everyone will just see that it's the Messiah. We will know it's the Messiah. Here he is, revealed to everyone. He will stand at the entrance of the Mount of Olives, and he will say who can enter and who cannot enter. Anyone who is not saved will stay outside and die, and anyone who is worthy will be saved. You have to know what he will be saved from. So the mountain just opens, and also...
Now it opens. It opens?
It splits in two.
Something like...
No.
An earthquake?
No.
A nuclear bomb? What?
No, they will rise up. You know how on the Mount of Olives there are graves, right? So 2 of the dead people will walk out. 2 dead people will come back to life. 1 from here and 1 from there. It will split in 2. That's how it will happen. And what I saw is that the Messiah is someone who can't sin. Someone with no sin. Someone who never sinned.
He is someone who repented?
Yes, he never sinned. He had never committed any sins. He is without sin. He didn't commit even 1 sin. It can't be that the Messiah is someone who sinned. It can be someone who we know very well. Lots and lots of people know him based on what I knew. But everyone will be very, very surprised that he, of all people, is the Messiah. Also, now, the Messiah, he will fight against Obama. And not only that, he will kill him and bury him in Israel. And I saw that. Yes, he will be buried in Israel. And I saw that when the Mount of Olives split in 2, then Messiah will stand at the opening. But he won't care who is religious, who has a beard, who a person is. He sees a person's holiness. He will smell each person. He will smell if someone is holy, if he is pure, if he did good deeds, if he is kind, to see if he has true fear of heaven and not just afraid of punishment and things like that. He won't say, "Here you are, you have a hat, you can go in." It's not like that. He will have power to feel what is truly inside every person.
Nathan, I ask you once again, you know all this from up there.
I know all of it from there.
A week ago, you didn't know any of this.
I didn't know these things. I didn't know. I had no idea. Nothing. Nothing.
No, he didn't. He is not a Jewish school student. Wait 1 second, 1 second. I just want to say something here. Look at what he is saying, and look, he says that Gog is Obama, and that Gog, Obama, will fall here in Israel. And God will give Obama a grave here in Israel.
Here in Israel.
So Ezekiel the prophet says, on that day I will give Gog a burial place in Israel.
That's exactly what they said to me. Exactly.
Ezekiel.
Exactly the same thing.
And you say that the Mount of Olives will split.
The Mount of Olives will split in two.
So Zechariah the prophet says, then shall the Lord go forth and fight against those nations, and his feet shall stand in that day on the Mount of Olives, which is before Jerusalem on the east. And the Mount of Olives shall cleave in the midst thereof.
Is that really what is written?
Yes, Zechariah the prophet.
That's exactly what I saw.
Zechariah the prophet, he was a long time ago.
That is exactly what will happen if things stay as they are. If the world keeps on like this, that is what will happen, for sure.
Now, a woman asked a good question, and I also want to ask, how will we know when it starts?
It will start with a boom. First of all, it has already started.
It has started?
As far as I could see, it has started. It started on September 11th, 2015. It has already started.
On the 27th of Elul last year in 5775.
This year, yes. Last Hebrew year.
We are in 5776, so it started last year, 3 days before Rosh Hashanah. Gog and Magog started.
Yes, that war has already started.
So why don't we sense anything?
Because God won't bring it at first. What will happen one certain day, it will just erupt. Something will set off and it will just erupt. All of the news channels, everything. Everyone will say World War III has started. Everyone will just know. That's it. There's no time. And everyone will know that God has caused this event.
You mean that there will be a security incident?
Yes.
And that causes everything to go out of control?
Yes.
Everyone will start fighting against each other?
Yes, exactly.
So at first they will fight against each other?
Yes.
And us?
We will be outside of it, but then everyone will come against us. They will unite and come against us.
Okay, fine. We'll see, okay?